So why build a local agency versus a national agency? So some people might be thinking, well, David, you run a national organization, you recruit across the nation. I want to do that. Or are you suggesting that you shouldn't? I'm not necessarily suggesting that you shouldn't. I'm just suggesting that there is a potential to build a better, more streamlined agency where you have a locality or region to build in versus covering coast to coast. And this will kind of go into some of the weaknesses, I think, in my business model for recruiting agents is, but how you can fill those gaps in when you have more of a local presence. So what I do, let me explain to you what I do in case you don't know. I run a national FMO coast to coast. I do all of my marketing, social media, web-based marketing, all organic. And people find my stuff predominantly on YouTube and get to know me. And when it sounds good, they reach out. Some of them do. And we do business. We contract and I coach and help them virtually. The problem with this model is that while it's really good, it's harder to start with. It takes time to develop a model like this. Many years of consistent production, consistent putting out of videos, consistent everything. And there are definitely been people who have done it, but you have to have a level of consistency to it that, with enough time and effort, you start to turn a corner and you can start getting regular traffic and interest. Now, here's why I think to start with, you can kind of do something simultaneously, but I think it's better to start with more of a localized agency, because the biggest weakness of my organization being national, even though I tell and I believe it, that I provide the training resources for my agents and I'm accessible for the most part, normal business hours. The problem is I can't be there face to face with a lot of these agents. I've realized in my agency that the ones who perform best are the people who are inherently independent, and I would describe as being a Lone Ranger mentality. They operate fine on their own. They don't need hand-holding. They don't need a lot of assistance. They're good and independent. The problem is the market of people for that, in my experience, are a lot less than those who would actually benefit from more hands-on training, more ride-along training, more in-person coaching. And the nice thing is with a localized approach, if you set it up correctly, as I'll teach in future modules, you don't need to recruit as many people as much as I do. I have a high recruitment rate, but not everybody that I work with recruits with me because I'm not on them to show up to an office, to complete so much training. It's a completely different approach where I teach agents, look, you're on your own in the sense that you got to motivate yourself to get through the training. I'll help you when you need it. But that requires, you're going to go through a lot more agents to find that fit that bill that can do it on their own, as opposed to if you're in a localized type of setting where you can carefully screen applicants, you can take them along with you to ride along in the field to learn the business. Likewise, you can do the exact opposite with them. There's a lot more, I think, ability to find quality people locally that are in your neighborhood, city, state, region, that you can get to pretty closely and train them up to be successful than in a national model where, yeah, you have access to more prospects, but the problem is a lot of the elements that I know at this point in my career are necessary aren't there, being by design in a virtual field. So I think it's best, again, you want all the odds in your favor that you can, and with a localized approach where you're building an agency, you're going to find that the training element is really crucial, and it's really answered to the best abilities. People can call you and talk to you on the phone, as well as do ride-alongs. Your agent struggles, you can go out with them in the field, see what they can improve on. Likewise, they can come with you. There's a lot more opportunities for intensive, intimate coaching that you can't get elsewhere. And with that comes a higher success rate. So I believe it's better for most people to start in that direction instead. So agent recruiting, agent training. Recruiting from your network is easier. Again, if you're recruiting from people that you know into the business, it's likely that you've got a relationship with them and they're likely local as well. And it's easier to create an agency culture. I believe this is something that a lot of people, if you're from my background, being highly independent, I've never worked inside of an insurance office in my life. I've always worked out of my home. I've never needed personally a culture or whatever. You know, my culture of success is I get up and I've got to go make money so I can make a living. And I have personal goals that I personally set, but I don't powwow with a bunch of different agents in order to flesh out that stuff too. But I am not like most agents. Again, if you're like that and you're listening to, I'm telling you, you're in a field of your own. What you want to be very sensitive to is building a culture of success in your agency. You want to have a culture where people come in and apply themselves, work hard, and see the fruits of their labor and see other people with the fruits of their labor. So that success is something that's expected, it's anticipated, it's trained for. And what that's going to do is it's going to excite people to stay with you because the energy that you get from that is going to be a lot better than just finding a contract elsewhere. And it converts the agency from just a place where you have a contract to a family, to a brotherhood or something, something a level above than just work. And so can you do that in the same capacity at a distance? That's a lot more difficult. Again, in my agency, that's why I focus so much on giving away so much free training, because I try to create a culture, or really a brand, around the idea of helping people selflessly without any expectation. Because I know that if I do that, people will come to me, and that works very well. It's hard. Again, it comes down to the ability to get enough traffic to make this viable. But the thing is, with a localized approach, you're going to find that there's plenty of people that will have an interest in what you're doing. But if you can create a culture of success and promote it, make it well known, that creates a bond between people, that creates a family-like atmosphere, and that keeps and retains a lot of your quality agents too. Again, more topics that we'll talk about. And it can eventually expand outward over time. And yes, you can build an agency, start in Chattanooga, build Knoxville or Atlanta, and grow outward based off of that. And then promote your agents that want to build elsewhere. You can definitely do that. And the thing is, with this entire approach, you've got more control. Again, that is the key. What I think is really important to begin with is that if you're going to build an agency, choosing the route of a localized agency, it's going to give you the kind of control that you need, from the prospecting process to this agent selection training process. And you can build this thing in your image as far as what your values are and what you want your agency to represent. Thanks for watching my video on building your own insurance agency. And before you go, I want to stress, if you are interested in building an agency, you have got to find the right setup to give you the opportunity to build the agency in your brand, to make it your own, and to maximize the opportunity out of your hard work. What I've discovered as an agency owner since 2013 is that many of the agents out there who aspire to build an agency, doesn't matter what product it is, partner with the wrong companies. They partner with companies that steal their downlines, that terminate them to eliminate them from their downlines, and ultimately build the brand of the company or the agency and not their own brand. What I teach agents is how to brand their own agency in their name, to give them the opportunity to maximize their commissions, whatever kind of products they're selling, and to ultimately create a real business that actually gets results. I'm sick and tired of all these corporations out here who are involved in the insurance business screw so many good-hearted agents over with quote-unquote agency opportunities. So this whole rant is just for me to explain to you that now I have a program. If you are interested in doing some sort of agency building, but you want to make sure you join the right agency, you want to make sure you get the training from A to Z, from recruiting, from training, from coaching agents to building and scaling and having lead generation, you think that's important to know and you know you need it, my program is for you. So if you want to learn more about how I help agents become successful and independent agency owners, here's what you need to do. Go to davidduford.com, click Join Dave's Agency, and you'll see a little link in the bottom that says something about check out my agency program. And there you'll find all sorts of information that will describe how it works and give you an idea of the details and to determine if it's right for you. So check that out if this is something you're serious about doing. And you guys have a good day, and thanks for watching. See ya.